I am John Stelfox. After being raised on farms and ranches, I've had a 45-year career in forestry, rangeland, wildlife, and watershed management. I have worked in forests such as this, trying to get the most for people while also perpetuating all of nature's renewable resources. Working closely with government and company foresters, we have been able to make a better job of managing forests in some of Western Canada. I like to think that I have made a difference. But, you know, I'm worried about the future of forest and watershed management in British Columbia.
About 150 years ago, miners and cattlemen arriving in BC found pristine, unlogged forests, grasslands, and water where a variety of native plants and wildlife thrived. Those forests contained extensive mature and old-growth trees that supported numerous plants and animals not found in younger forests. There were various insect-eating birds that played a major role in controlling harmful forest insects, such as bark beetles. Also, many animals, such as caribou, depended on the mosses and lichens within older forests to sustain them during the harsh winter months. And the clean water sustained an abundance of fish plus other aquatic and upland life.
The old-growth forest with the dead trees rotting is so important for the nutrients, to provide new soil for the new growth of the trees. The other thing that's important, it's moist. Many places it's over a foot deep. And it's so important in acting as a natural sponge and grabbing and holding and slowly releasing the water so that you don't get that rapid spring runoff and then the dry water conditions in the late summer. And so it produces the nutrients that are so important for a future forest that you don't get in clear-cut logging, and where you have the rapid runoff, you haven't got the old trees, you have the shorter rotation, and so this, along with the nice green moss that's there, is such a vital water sponge that will give you water the year round instead of a fast runoff in the spring and then a shortage in the summer and fall. The moss layer in these old growth forests is so wonderful in that you have the moist moss that's deep, you have all the soil that's moist and for a productive forest, and it's still holding lots of water and slowly releasing it. And this forest will be anywhere from 150 to probably 400 years of age. The water, when it's released from this mossy layer, is pure and clean. You don't get the erosion from it that you get off the younger forests, and especially for the first 20 years or so after clear-cut logging. But it's such a beautiful forest, and it contains so many different types of plants, and so important for a wide variety of birds and animals as well. But it's just a magnificent forest ecosystem, but it's almost a thing of the past because we're primarily into just a 50 to 75 year logging rotation. So the future will have very, very few areas such as this, and it's unfortunate because these are just priceless forests.
In short, these unspoiled natural ecosystems were the best that nature had produced after the last ice age. For the next 75 years, the Canadian government managed BC's Crown lands under the conservation principles of allowing use but not abuse of natural resources.
That's okay. He didn't care about the rest of it. That's pretty good.
Then ownership of natural resources was transferred to the BC government. This resulted in significant changes over the past 65 years as forest industries and livestock owners became dominant managers of BC's forest lands. Extensive clear-cuts and shorter timber harvest rotations have been replacing the mature and old-growth forests with open grasslands and young forests. The once beautiful and diverse 100 to 600-year-old forests have been vanishing, except in some parks, ecological reserves, and community forests being managed wisely on a sustainable ecosystem basis. Contrary to the advice of forest educators, community forest managers, and ecologists, the BC Forest Practices Code continues to sanction clear-cutting as the primary logging practice. About 95% of all logging is by clear-cutting, and corporations control about 85% of BC's timber. The forest industries prefer progressive clear-cuts, where entire valleys or mountains are denuded in a series of consecutive large clear-cuts. A BC Ministry of Forests report on old growth stated that within the overall policy of achieving sustained yield, it appears the province's implicit old-growth forest policy is to liquidate it in favor of younger forest plantations. Although clear-cutting forests is a lucrative system, it is non-sustainable and environmentally destructive. Clear-cut logging usually results in the loss of moss and decomposed ground litter. The open, hot, dry environments lose their water-holding capability. Winter snows melt quickly and race downhill, carrying soil, woody debris, logs, and rock into streams and lakes, where they clog and pollute the water. This results in boil water advisories, summer water shortages, and water restrictions becoming annual events. The problem has become worse now that thousands of livestock are allowed to graze on clear-cuts and young forests. They eat edible plants, essential for native animals and birds. Exotic weeds such as thistle and knapweed soon replace the overgrazed native plants. Livestock create extensive damage to stream and lake banks and foul the water with feces and urine. This polluted water contains high levels of coliform bacteria that create human health problems. A water sample from Vernon Creek in July 2009 showed a total coliform count of 3,900 per 100 milliliters, and the water overgrown with E. coli bacteria. That water flows into lovely Okanagan Lake.